everybody, Mac here. Good morning, welcome to the show, welcome to Saturday Morning Cartoons. If I sound slow or tired this morning, it is because as of the time of this recording, it is past 1 o'clock in the morning. I planned on recording this much earlier on Friday, but I got caught up with Elder Scrolls Online and their New Life Festival and running all my characters through that. And then I've just been witchering it up all afternoon, well into the evening. Time just got away from me, but I wanted to get Zartan out here because I wanted to take a look at and open up our Master of Disguise Zartan, which of course was the Hasbro Pulsecon exclusive. And I had to open them up already, so this is kind of a cheat. The box has already been opened. I've already taken a look at them, and I'll explain why. I'm going to tell you right up front, I'm a little disappointed in this one, and I know that's rare because I'm usually all gung-ho about the G.I. Joe figures, no pun intended, but this one, you'll see what I mean. So let's just start with the packaging. On the front here of our box, we have this die cut out with Zartan, some really nice artwork of him in his new armor, a profile shot, and we have this spinning disc that up here we have Zartan. And then we have Zartan with his Dreadnought mask, which we'll see when we get in there. Zartan as the Soft Master. Zartan as Storm Shadow. Zartan as, I'm guessing that's supposed to be the Hard Master. And Zartan as Snake Eyes, because why not? Snake Eyes. And then we have our regular Zartan here as well. Now on the side, we have his file card with his number 31. On the other side, we have some more unique artwork, which I like the cell shading look of this. I like the artwork. And then on back, we have a stretched out version of this big collage that has added in Firefly and Major Blood and Beachhead and some of the exclusive figures, some of the Cobra Island exclusive figures that have made it onto here, and some vehicles that we'll probably never get in the 6-inch scale. And on the bottom, barcode. Up top, we have a window right here to let light in so that when we open this up, light can come down and illuminate what's inside. Now, we have the Dreadnought symbol over here, which I love the look of this Dreadnought symbol. We need some Dreadnoughts. We need some Dreadnoughts for Zartan to lead. There are some Marvel Legends figures that I've been looking at that I want to get that we can fudge in and use them for Dreadnoughts, but we need some legit Dreadnoughts. We need Blowtorch, we need Ripper, we need the whole crew. Now over here, we can see Zartan in all of his glory with his different masks and heads and all of his accessories. So the box is basically what we've come to expect from G.I. Joe Classified, just much bigger because it's in this deluxe format. So let's not focus on the box any longer. Let's get this open, let's get Zartan out, and let's take a look at G.I. Joe Classified Master of Disguise Zartan. Alright friends, here he is, Zartan out of the box, and he's pretty much going to be exactly what we've seen with the first incarnation of Zartan. Just the paint job is different, and the accessories have been expanded upon. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put the tape measure to him, and he should be around 6.5, just like the original Zartan was. Let's take his cowl off. I know his cowl and his scarf technically count as accessories, but I just wanted to display him with them on. And to the top of his head, yeah, he's 6.5 inches tall. So that puts him at the same height as the previous Zartan, and that puts him in the same scale as the rest of the G.I. Joe Classified line. Now, let's take a look at articulation, which shouldn't be anything surprising. It's what we've come to expect. We're going to take a look at sculpt, and we're going to take a look at paint, because believe it or not, that's where we start to run into some issues, and you'll see what I mean in a second. Alright, so once again, let's take the cowl off, and we'll take a look at this. He can look down, he can bury the chin, he can look way back, his head can do a full 360, and he has a little bit of tilt side to side, and he can really crank the head back because he has this ball joint on a hinge swivel right there. So, just like most of the Joes do, arms, for some reason mine are sticking, arms come up a little bit past 90, they'll do a full 360, and once again, just like the previous one, the shoulder pads are soft rubber, and they're on these little pieces that are connecting it, which I'm worried that eventually those may rip off and you'll have to glue them back on. But it gets out of the way whenever you want to turn his arms. He has the bicep swivel, He has some double jointed elbows with some really good travel. Wrist swivel and pivot. Both of them pivot up and down. Let's get your arms out of the way, Zartan. You can see he has an ab crunch. He can go forward. He can go back. He also has a waist twist. He has a little bit of side-to-side rock. And he can really crank forward and really crank down using the ball joint at the waist. He has drop-down legs that let him get out to the side like yo. His legs can come forward. His legs can go back. He has a thigh swivel that is hidden by the thigh armor piece. I really like that. Double jointed knees with some decent travel. Boot cut, which once again, it's covered by the shielding of the boot. Ankle goes back, ankle goes forward, and a forward-facing pin for rocker. Okay, so with this being basically just a repaint of Zartan, you'd figure there wouldn't be much problem with the sculpt. And the sculpt in and of itself isn't a problem. I mean, it is 100% reuse from the original Zartan. It's just a repaint. Okay, it's the dreaded repaint that we have going on here. But I do prefer this version of the armor, which this is the basically the comic book version, the Marvel Comics version of the armor, where it was more silver than brown, like the original vintage toy was. I like the silver on the arm pads. I like the silver on the legs. I really like the silver in the chest and the shoulder pieces. However, as you can tell, mine came off-centered, horribly off-centered. So I have to apply some heat to this if I'm going to use this. I'm going to have to hit it with some heat because I've tried to twist it, and eventually, even when I loosen it up and I move it into position, because it was shipped like this and it was in transport like this, it is sort of adhered this way that it eventually just pulls itself back into position. You can even see in his abs how off-center it is. And then also in the back holes don't even really line up for his accessories. Now, like I said, get some heat, warm that up, loosen it up, reshape it. I shouldn't have a problem. Only problem is I don't have a hair dryer. I towel dry my hair, so I'm going to have to find a hair dryer to hit this with some heat, because warm water isn't going to do it, because I tried it with warm water, because the other issue I have as far as the paint app goes, you may have noticed or you may know that this version of Zartan has the skin change, the color change skin like the vintage figure does. However, instead of it being photosensitive, meaning instead of it changing color under light, this changes color with temperature. The colder it gets, the bluer he gets. Now that did two things. One, when I got him shipped, he was already blue because it's December and it just gets very cold in shipping anyway. So his skin had already changed blue. And two, and I don't know how well this is showing up on camera, but he has, even after I submerged him in hot water, and I mean steaming hot, not quite boiling, he never really gets rid of the blue-gray tone to his skin. His skin tone isn't very natural. He seems to have this perpetual undertone of like blue-gray. And it's not just mine. I've seen other reviews, or I watched other reviews when I saw that mine was having this problem, that others are having that issue as well, that his skin tone always has that blue-gray appearance to it. I saw it on a few reviews, I saw it on the Fwoosh, but the thing I can point out the best is, if you look at the back of his bicep here, it just seems perpetually this dark color, like the arm is just forever going to be, both of them actually, are forever going to be this dark color change skin tone. And that's a little disappointing. Like, I get why Hasbro did that. I totally get why Hasbro did that. I get that there were some people that were probably upset that the original Zartan didn't change color. And they can't make it photosensitive anymore because regulations have changed. And for whatever reason, they had to do it this way. And I get that. And I appreciate them trying. It's just still a little disappointing that it always is going to have this muted grayish blue skin tone, especially when you take a look at how much the armor pops. And once I fix this, the armor almost makes up for it, like, because it just makes this character pop so much better, whereas the original Zartan, everything was brown. I wish I could take this armor off. All of, like, everything. Like, basically, I wish I could do a torso swap with him. That I could take the torso from the original Zartan, put it on this one, change out the armor, and I'm sure I can, and I'm sure there are customizers that will do that. I've never gotten that into it. I'm worried that if I try that, I'm just going to break both of them. But it would be really cool if I could do a torso swap, get the standard skin tone torso on here, change out the armor, use these legs, because these legs are much more defined too. You can even see, like, his skull belt is highlighted very well. It would just be really cool if I could just swap that out for Zartan. Now, he does have his scarf, and of course he has his cowl. These, I believe, are basically the same color as the original Zartan. Mine's put away right now. I didn't even think to get them out, because like I said, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm not thinking about that stuff right now. But he does have the same cowl, the same scarf, and everything just fits into position, fits in perfectly. Okay, so for accessories, we're going to go over the ones that we've already seen with the original release. First of all, we have this dagger, and I like the dagger. I always appreciate them putting knives in with it, but considering this was a deluxe figure and a lot of stuff got some repaint, they could have done something with this, that they could have painted the blade silver. And just like the original one, he has his croc skin, oh, that's upside down. He has his croc skin sheath back here. Is that? No, it's just really tight. That he can put his dagger and he can sheath it there, which is cool. Next up, he has his backpack, which is pretty much goes all the way back to the vintage figure, that it opens up and you have your space where you can put the mask in here, and you have these, I don't know, doodads over here, but it just clips on, and it has the peg on back, and this is what I mean, that you kind of have to, at least on mine, you kind of have to move the armor to the side to get the backpack on. It's not doing anything up front. So that's what I mean, like, I'll have to heat this, I'll have to shift this, and then, like, maybe put the backpack in to try and get it to hold position. But in addition to the backpack, he has his pistol, his iconic pistol, which, once again, the backpack has these pegs on here that you can just attach the pistol on to hold it, since he doesn't have a sheath, if you don't want him holding the pistol and you just want to put it somewhere. Now here's where things start to get different. He has 3 different masks. He has the standard mask that he comes with, that he's always come with ever since the vintage line. He has a mask of the hard master, and he has a mask of the soft master. Now these faces, these likenesses, are based on the 80s comic, not the 2021 movie that just came out. So this is the hard master from the comic. This was Storm Shadow's uncle that Zartan actually assassinated, and this was the soft master. And all of these are masks that just fit on just the way that the original mask did. That you see, we take Zartan here. Let's take the hard master. Let's pop that off. You just basically form that over his head. Then you can put the cowl on, and that holds it in place. And that kind of looks funny. But then the backpack, come on. The backpack opens up, and any of the masks that you have will fit into that slot. Any of the masks that he comes with will fit into that slot in the backpack, so he can carry them around. So he'll have one in there, he'll be wearing one, but there's one that is just going to kind of be off on its own. Now, something else that he comes with is a bow and a quiver full of arrows, and you see there's the Arashikage logo symbol on the quiver, and you can tell that this bow is basically just a repaint of the bow that came with Arctic Mission Storm Shadow. So these are both basically just reissues of the Arctic Mission Storm Shadow accessories. In fact, this is the 3rd time we've seen this quiver, because this also came with the 6-inch Hasbro, the G.I. Joe core figures, the true 6-inch figures for Snake Eyes Origins. So they're getting their money's worth out of this mold, no doubt. Now, I do like the coloring, and I like the coloring of the fletchings, but here's the thing. Because of where the peg is here and where the hole is on Zartan's back, I don't know, it might be me, but I feel like that quiver comes up a little too high. Maybe not. When I first put it on there, I thought that was too high for Zartan. that it would have needed to maybe come down a little lower, but I don't know. Maybe that is right. Not sure. But then he also has his bow here that, just like with Storm Shadow, it will just fit right in, fit into his hand. And I realize that's the wrong hand because he should be holding it in his left. But he has that. And I think that whenever we get the vintage-looking Storm Shadow that's coming out next year, then Storm Shadow has the compound bow. I think I'm going to be doing some accessory swapping. That this one I may just give to Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, because by that time he'll probably just be in the tub. The bow that came with Arctic Mission, the black and gold one that had a little bit more detail than this, that will go to the vintage Storm Shadow, and then Zartan here will get the compound bow, because that to me just seems like that will be more in line with what happened in the comic. And finally, we have the one that I was looking forward to the most, which is this big Horkin sniper rifle that he comes with. And don't be surprised if this finds its way into Baroness's hands. Which, first of all, we can see that the sniper rifle is suppressed. And at the front, we have a hole to receive blast effects, but blast effects didn't come with Zartan. Come on, Hasbro, you're calling him a deluxe figure. At least give him some sort of blast effect to come out of his sniper rifle. Now, the bipod up front actually moves, so you can have it up or you can have it down for whenever he's in the prone firing position. This was a surprise. I wasn't expecting this. This piece flips down, and you can see that the clip comes out, the magazine comes out, but we only have the one magazine, so don't lose that, because it is easy to lose that, because this isn't very stiff. This doesn't hold in there very solid, and you saw how easily this falls out. So be very careful about losing that. I like the coloring in the handle. I like the detail in the weapon itself. I think it looks good. I think it looks real good. It looks not Nerf. Like, for being a weapon that I think Hasbro made this one up, like they have for most of them, but it still looks like a legit weapon. It even has a scope up top and an iron rail down the front. Now, this strap right here, this is held into position. But if you put Zartan's arm up, and then you bring the rifle down over him like so, there you go. He can strap it, he can carry it strapped to his back. Only problem is, it doesn't work with the backpack or the quiver on. So you really have to, with this version of Zartan, it's really a mix and match as to what accessories you're going to display him with. But I do really like the sniper rifle. And they also, let me get this back off of him. I almost forgot. Oh, come on, off. That's hung up on his armor. You get this off, and you can see that they cut out the trigger guard, so you don't have to worry about twisting his finger into a trigger guard. You just push down on it, and he gets his finger right in there. Maybe manipulate it a little, but you can see he gets his finger right in there for some pretty good firing stances, actually. And last but not least, he comes with these three accessories. This is a mask that's actually kind of cool. I don't think we've ever gotten something like this before, but these are heads. These aren't masks. These are heads. And we'll get to those in a second. But this mask is meant to look like the skull and the dreadnought symbol, and you can see that the eyes are a little bit of tech eyes. Like maybe they give him enhanced vision, give him night vision, telescopic, whatever. But that just fits. It's a little tight. It's actually a lot tight, and I'm worried that the band that goes around his head is eventually going to break. But it does, I don't know if you heard that, it does snap into position. And then he has this mask on that's, like I said, like the skull from the Dreadnought symbol. But the problem is that this beefs up his noggin so much that the hood, the cowl, doesn't really fit down over top of it, which is a shame, because that would have looked really cool if they could have done that a little bit more streamlined, or somehow managed to get the cowl to wrap around it. That would have looked really cool. Now, let's take that off. The other ones, head came off. The other ones, like I said, are just heads. And they do fit on Zartan. For whatever reason, they gave him... Get on. They gave him a Snake Eyes head. Let's try that again. They gave him a Snake Eyes head. Okay. And they gave him a Storm Shadow head. And this Storm Shadow head... come on, hold on. These don't want to sit right on his noggin. This Storm Shadow head is basically a white painted version of the head that came with Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, which, if you remember, that one is black. And I can show it to you right here. Like, if we take this hood off, you can see that they're the same. Just this is black, this is white. Now here's the thing. At first I thought maybe they were giving us these heads that we could use them on other figures. But if we take this off of Zartan, and we take this off of Arctic Mission Storm Shadow, come on. It doesn't fit. The ball is too small. And the head is way too stark to go with the rest of Storm Shadow anyway. So it's not that, unfortunately. And if we take a look at, where's he at? Here is our first Snake Eyes. Now, I already swapped out the head. I use the Hasbro Pulse exclusive special limited edition, whatever you want to call it, Snake Eyes head, so we can get that silver visor. And at first I thought that they gave us this Snake Eyes head to go with the standard Snake Eyes, because the standard Snake Eyes head, everything is just black, including the visor. And I thought maybe they gave us this just to give Snake Eyes a little bit more detail in his head. But this doesn't really fit on him either. It's almost like the ball joint is too... like, it will fit on there, but it won't spin. You can see the entire neck unit is spinning. There's not a whole lot of play in it. There's no side to side, and it comes off very easily. It doesn't really pop in there. That it feels like this ball joint is too big, but also, and it may just be me, it looks like that this is bored out deeper than the one that comes with Snake Eyes. So the Snake Eyes head doesn't fit on Snake Eyes. The Storm Shadow head doesn't fit on Storm Shadow. They barely fit on Zartan, because you saw I had a problem with getting them on Zartan. So I don't know what the purpose of putting those two heads with Zartan was, other than he is just, as far as like the comic lore goes, he is just so intrinsically tied to these two figures that they thought they would just put these in as Easter eggs, but they don't really serve a purpose. And I don't know. Instead of getting these, I would have liked to have gotten a couple of different accessories. Like, I'm not sure what, but these I feel were wasted plastic. Because something that doesn't come with him, that came with the original one, is, where's it at? His backpack here still has the holes for the swamp totems, like the voodoo totems that the original Zartan came with. And I'm surprised he doesn't have those with him. Okay, so here's Zartan after about half an hour, 45 minutes in the freezer. And you can see what I mean, that the colder he gets, the bluer he gets. And he gets this really nice, deep, rich blue coloring to him. Except on the neck. And yeah, you can see here on the neck and on the back of the elbows here, the color change doesn't quite make it. But one thing that's really funny, take a look at his head, how it's nice and blue. Boop. Body heat. And there it goes, changing back again. This is actually how he came in the packaging when I got him from FedEx. He was not quite this dark blue, but he was still blue. And I'm kind of wondering why, like, this one spot on his neck and then the back of the elbows doesn't show up. Don't expect any photos of him posed in this deep blue color, though, because this is actually the second time I've had to do this, because he will fade really fast. Also, because he's frozen, his joints are really stiff, and I feel like they're going to break. But I just wanted you to see what happens when you get him in the freezer. And I don't get it, though. Like, even in the vintage line, I didn't get the color change gimmick. Like, changes colors in the sun. He's a master of disguise. Why is he a chameleon? He's a master of disguise. Why does he change color when it gets cold? Like, although I guess if anybody freezes, eventually they'll look like this. Okay, so for size comparisons, here he is with his first issuing of Zartan and Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow, and you can see what I mean now, hopefully, by the skin tone difference, but you can also see just how much more this armor pops. I really got to see if I can do a torso swap on these guys. Also, I didn't realize, I don't know if it's Zartan is big, or if these guys are short. Holy cow. Here he is with Marvel Legends Psylocke from the Nimrod 3-pack and Captain Marvel. Here he is with McFarlane Toys Mortal Kombat 11 Scorpion and Spawn. And because why not, here he is with McFarlane Toys Witcher 3 Aridin Briok Glass and Geralt of Rivia. And finally, here he is with Jazzware's Wicked Cool Toys Spartan Collection Master Chief and Cat. Okay, so I'm not going to lie, this kind of let me down. And I know I usually gush over the G.I. Joe figures, and I've pretty much loved every one of them that's come out so far. But this time, I really feel like this one was a bit of a disappointment. Mainly because, one, of the skin tone being what it is, and two, the accessories aren't nearly what I would expect for what they were calling a deluxe figure. And I feel like most of the money went into the color change ability, the color change ability of the skin, which of course has left it with that forever muddy look to it. But it is what it is. The inclusion of the Mask of the Hard Master, the inclusion of the Mask of the Soft Master, those were two nice nods to his comic book era storyline, going along with the silvered armor look instead of the brown armor. I really like the look of the armor. But then there are some things that come with it that I have to ask, why did you do that? Like, the compound bow should have come with Zartan, and the reissue of the recurve bow should have gone with the Storm Shadow that's coming out. The reuse of the quiver, I don't mind so much. I know originally I thought that the arrow sat a little too high, but the more that I looked at it, the more I'm okay with it, and the more I'm like, yeah, that actually does make sense. The sniper rifle, I like the sniper rifle a lot. I'm glad they added that in. That was a really nice touch, along with the Dreadnought mask. Now, the Dreadnought mask, I feel like when it's on him, it's a little too tight, and I'm worried that band is going to break eventually. Also, it would have been nice if, while he was wearing the Dreadnought mask, he was able to get the cowl down over top of it, but we talked about that already. The two that confuse me the most are the inclusion of the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow heads, because they don't look right on him, they don't really fit on him on his own ball joint, nor do they fit with the Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow that we've had issued to us already, unless that Snake Eyes head will fit on the Commando version of Snake Eyes that's coming out, because I've had that on pre-order, but haven't gotten it yet. But we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait and see if that fits when it comes in. Now, having said all of that, am I glad I have it? Of course I am, because I'm a G.I. Joe collector and because I enjoy it. But unless you're a really big collector and you already have the Zartan that's out, I don't know how much you're going to get out of this unless you just want that silvered armor look. Because for me, that was the thing. It wasn't the color change. It wasn't all the other accessories. For me, it was something as simple as having this silver armor that made me want to get him. Because the silver armor just pops so much better than the brown. But past that, honestly, I really can't recommend this unless you're like a completionist or you just want to consume as much G.I. Joe Classified merch as what's out there. He is back up on sale on Hasbro Pulse. This past Friday, actually no, I think it was Thursday, they had a back-in-stock thing, and Zartan here and Commando Snake Eyes were both back in stock on Hasbro Pulse. So if you missed him the first time, you might be able to get him, because as of the time of this recording, at 2 in the morning, there still were Zartans available on Hasbro Pulse. If you got him and you like him, great. I'm glad you got something out of this. But for me, I thought this was going to replace the original Zartan as my main display, but actually I think he's going to go back in the box, and I'm just going to keep him as a display piece that way. That's all I have for you today, friends. We have more coming down the line. Of course, we have Matrix coming out on the 22nd, which I'm so pumped for. I binge-watched all of The Witcher, which I hadn't planned on doing. I was going to try and stretch it out, but I sat down and I started watching and I couldn't stop. So we have plenty more to look forward to until the month is over, until the year is over. So until we talk again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Stay safe, stay healthy, and as always, thank you for watching.